So, to start, we're going to have a quiz. Show of hands, how many people lived in the United States during 2024? More or less than 350 million? More? More. More?
Wait, no, less.
All right.
What?
Right. So this is census data, but it's 340 million people are in the United States. All right. A few more stats. Drug overdoses nationwide have declined in the last year. So that's great news for most of the U.S. What do you think's happening here in Eastern Washington?
Rising.
It's rising, and it's continued to rise, unfortunately. So, we still have to know what's happening when it comes to these overdoses and poisonings. Most of all overdose deaths in the U.S. are related to fentanyl, and it still is the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 44-year-olds. Is that surprising to anyone that that's the leading cause of death for that age range?
No.
No? It surprised me, frankly, because I was like, oh, when you think about car accidents and, heart attacks and other things, I would have thought there might maybe had other things, but unfortunately, it's overdoses. Fentanyl-involved deaths is the fastest growing among 14 to 23-year-olds. Again, that's why we're here. That's you guys, that's your siblings, that is your cousins. That's why you need to know what's out there. It's also contributing to deaths among children ages 5 and under. Why do you think that is? There's a 5-year-old's not gonna, or a 3-year-old's not gonna go buy a fake pill.
From like spray.
The parents are addicted, is that what you said? Okay, that's partially.
The parents are addicted to it and might leave it around the house so the children can get it.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Sometimes parents or siblings or other family members may leave substances around where a child can get to it. There have been cases of toddlers getting it in a public place. So they picked it up off the ground at a park. And what do little kids do?
Put stuff in their mouth.
They always put stuff in their mouth, right? So they may touch something, they get fentanyl on their fingers, they put that in their mouth, and they end up overdosing. If you feel comfortable, show of hands, how many of you have been impacted by fentanyl in one way or another? Whether it's family, friends. Okay. So statistically, 1 in 3 Americans has had some impact from fentanyl. I would argue it's higher than that when you add in like how resources are used to address fentanyl and overdoses. But 1 in 3, that's a very high number. So again, fentanyl affects all of us. Todd, who spoke at the beginning, that's his son up in the corner and in Todd's family. All of these are local people up top. This bottom row of pictures that's a DEA headquarters. They have 2 huge buildings that are, they're huge. They're like, they're in DC and they cover an entire city block. Both bottom floors are full of pictures of people who have died from fentanyl. So Todd talked about pharmaceutical fentanyl, and then he talked about illicit fentanyl a little bit when he was talking. When you think about pharmaceutical fentanyl, it's produced in a regulated lab, right? What do you think that means? Do you think that there's a lot of quality control? People are trained, they know what they're doing. They produce this substance there, right? Todd mentioned that in the hospital, there is a need for fentanyl. Absolutely right. Fentanyl is used in surgeries. It's used as a pain reliever. It is a necessary tool for hospitals and doctors to use, which is the reason why we can't ban this substance in the United States. Unfortunately, what happens is the fentanyl is produced in China, and it's often diverted to cartels. And that is where it becomes illicit and why it becomes so dangerous. This is where illicit fentanyl is produced. Does it look very sanitary? You think they can regulate what they're putting in there? Absolutely not. Which is why fentanyl is so dangerous. The fentanyl we're finding on the streets is because it's not regulated. Todd mentioned the pencil. I don't know if you have seen this yet, but this is 2 milligrams of fentanyl powder. That is a potentially lethal dose. So just that small amount can kill people. It is found in every single illicit substance out there. So you cannot feel comfortable taking another illicit substance and believe that there's not fentanyl in it that can kill you. Let's see, yeah, they're just putting it in everything. Oh, you cannot identify fentanyl alone through sight or smell or taste, okay? So if fentanyl, some users of fentanyl, they take it by swallowing. Some people inject it. A lot of people smoke it. And these are people who know that they're using fentanyl, right? They're smoking a pill to get high. Do you think that has a smell? It does, all right? So the product, that when fentanyl is mixed with other things, there's a smell when it's burned. That smell can be described by some people as like a burning rubber, others burn popcorn or burnt peanut butter. And it's a pretty distinct smell. So what we are finding is when we describe that smell to people, a lot of people are like, I had no idea that smell that is at, the public restroom that at my, when I work at the department store, that smell was fentanyl being burned. A lot of us now know what marijuana smells like. Unfortunately, a lot more people are learning what fentanyl smells like because it is so prevalent in our community. I showed you the picture of a fentanyl lab, right, in Mexico and in Canada. And I said that there's no quality controls. What happens is they take the fentanyl, they take binder, they take a bunch of other like coloring and acetaminophen, and they mix it all together into a product. And they cannot evenly distribute that fentanyl throughout the product that they're producing. So they put it all together, and then they might put it into a brick, a powder brick, or they might press it into pills. But they can't tell if the fentanyl is evenly distributed throughout that pill or that powder. And I liken it to chocolate chip cookies, right? So when you're making chocolate chip cookies, you mix everything together. If you're mixing those cookies by hand, is there any way you can get the chocolate chips evenly distributed? Very difficult, right? You've got to be pretty talented. If you throw in a bag of chocolate chips into your flour and sugar and butter, and you make a cookie and it's evenly distributed, those chocolate chips. It's the same idea with fentanyl pills. You don't know where in that pill the fentanyl is, or if there's a lethal dose in part of that pill or powder. All right, one of these is real and one is fake. We're gonna do a little quiz again. Show of hands, who thinks this is real? A few of you? All right. All right. So top row, those are oxys. That is a lot of what is found on our street. That is a lot of what cartels sell. This is Xanax. Real? Fake? Show of hands. Real? 2 of you? 3, 4? All right. Xanax. This is being marketed to a lot of college age or upper high school level youth. Adderall. Fake or real? Fake? Show of hands. Few of you. All right. I like to show this because there is, again, is no way you can look at a pill unless you're guessing, right? Some of you got it right, but they were guesses. You can't look at a pill and know if it's real or know if it's fake. Some of the presses that they have out there, they do a better job on making their pills than a pharmacy does. We would seize tens of thousands of pills. I saw pills a lot, and I could never tell if they're real. So how would somebody who does not know where they're getting it from know whether it's real or fake? You can't. You always have to take pills from your pharmacist. These are other substances that are found on our streets. We got colored powder, we have colored pills, and we have, what does this look like? Chalk. Why do you think cartels are making substances that look that way?
They could pass by cops easy.
You think that it's because it'll pass by cops easier? Maybe.
Kids will like it.
What's the second thing you said?
Because kids will like it.
Right? They're marketing to younger people. If I'm old, like I am, and I want to use a drug, do I care if it is pretty? No. I would use anything if I want to use a drug. But if you're trying to increase your market and get more customers, and you want them to start young, you're going to make it enticing. And why would they want to get a young customer base?
So you're buying it for longer.
Buying it for longer, right? And you end up having to use a lot more. So you're making money from these people at a very young age, which is why they're marketing to younger people. And when you look at something like this and that, you again understand why kids 5 and under are overdosing. Because it looks like candy. It looks like sidewalk chalk. There's actually a case in, I think it's Federal Way or Tukwila on the west side somewhere, where there was a toddler in a public park and picked up something that looked very similar to this, put it in his mouth and overdosed. Thankfully, there was somebody close by that had Narcan and saved him. The kid did not die, but that's what happens. They pick it up thinking it is candy. All right, so vaping, for those who purchase THC or nicotine cartridges, if you get it from a legitimate, regulated location, they have not been found to contain fentanyl. There is a large market of unregulated cartridges that are sold on our streets. Those cartridges have the potential to have fentanyl contamination. There have been cases, not here locally, but there have been cases nationwide and in Mexico especially, where cartridges are seized and they contain fentanyl, either through contamination or they're intentionally having fentanyl put in. Who's heard of Kratom? Where is it sold? Any idea? It's sold at gas stations, all right? I've not seen or heard of fentanyl-laced Kratom. I'm putting this here because a lot of people buy Kratom at the grocery store or at the gas station, and it is like legal morphine. There is a large population now in the United States that has become addicted to Kratom, and they are addicted. They suffer through withdrawals. They are they're physically dependent on this substance. So it's something to be aware of. If you are at the store and you think, I'm just going to buy this, know that there could be long-term dependency issues associated with Kratom. How many of you have phones or access to social media? A majority of you, right? Have you guys ever seen drugs sold on social media?
No.
Sometimes we'll go into locations and ask that question, and it's like 98% of the students will say, yeah. They don't say, I am selling fentanyl pills. They have code words, they have emojis, but they're selling stuff through social media. I like to say that social media is now the drug dealer of today. Throw this up here. If any of you are interested, we do have a youth advisory board that works with us on doing, going into schools and putting on presentations in like high schools, middle schools, etc. If you'd like to join our board, we would love to have you. We need guys more.